Prediction is very important for all humans in order to help us make sense of the world around us. For autistic people, prediction is vital. Too often, autistic people have to exist in environments that are full of uncertainty. Autistic students exist within school environments that are full of unpredictable, unwritten rules, in situations controlled by teachers, parents and peers, and within which their responses to these environments are often undermined or ignored. The way autistic people respond to the unexpected, new things, change, and sometimes even the expected, when it happens infrequently, has for a long time been regarded as them being intolerant of uncertainty. It's imperative to understand that anxiety is not a part of autism, but an independently co-occurring condition that can be addressed and treated in its own right. Accurately identifying what may cause anxiety can provide an opportunity to bring about significant improvements in that person's quality of life and daily functioning. For example, there may be sensory unpredictability during PE lessons, with many different sounds, temperature changes, body responses, touching and movement. The timetable can change suddenly and without warning. Teacher instructions may be unclear, or their requests could be misinterpreted due to sensory overwhelm or input. There may be social unpredictability in the playground if peers suddenly decide to play something else. Responses of autistic people to these examples may manifest as anxiety, but are often interpreted as inappropriate, as an overreaction. The observer may believe that the autistic student simply needs to be more resilient to these type of changes, which often in turn leads to behavioural interventions. Intolerance requires a fix. This thinking does not consider the context that autistic students have psychological and physiological needs and responses that are very different to a neurotypical student's. This thinking needs to be reframed so that we can positively and constructively change the environments and context rather than look to change the person. It becomes important to move from thinking about intolerance of uncertainty to safety in predictability. When we do, we understand that a meltdown in response to sensory unpredictability in PE is because the autistic student is experiencing overwhelm and possibly pain. That the last-minute change of schedule is highly disruptive to an autistic person because of the safety they find in something concrete has been taken away without warning or time for preparation. That the lack of clarity in a teacher request may confuse the autistic student and cause them to freeze. That if peers suddenly decide to play something else, it's going to cause the autistic student to become anxious and dysregulated. By learning more about autistic responses and moving to thinking about safety and predictability, we understand that repeated exposure to uncertainty isn't going to prepare an autistic person for the real world. Dismissive or negative responses to autistic people at these times are at best likely to encourage them to mask how they respond to uncertainty. While we can't prepare for all the unexpected things that happen in a school or every change, safety and predictability validates an autistic person's need for safety in an unsafe world. It can also be part of a process of empowerment by helping them understand what is in their control to change and how to mitigate or avoid unexpected change. So how do we become neurodiversity sensitive? How do we create safe and predictable spaces? We can recognise that the causes of uncertainty may be different for autistic people in comparison to non-autistic people. Accepting this means validating autistic responses to uncertainty and seeking to understand autistic experiences of the world as the key to reducing their anxiety. We can empower autistic students by helping them have control over their routines, curating autonomy and agency and the ability for them to predict. We can communicate better by using multiple forms of communication and by breaking our communication down into small achievable steps. We can provide safe sensory and low-demand environments to recover from the sensory and emotional distress caused by the unexpected.